Hello, I'm the art teacher. Today I'm doing a lesson for second graders, but it of course could be for any grade. But this is what I'm teaching these second graders. I am teaching them a snowman picture. Now Christmas has already passed, but it's winter time for us here. So this is going to be a snowman picture. And it's going to be a little combination of collage and drawing. I start off with a piece of paper, blue, to represent the blue sky. Then I give them a strip of paper, piece of white paper, and I instruct them to cut a smooth, low curve where they could glue this down just like this, and it magically becomes the snow. Now, if I don't want the smooth edge of snow, I could always tear the paper and glue it down, and it gives it a little rougher feel. Since this is already glued down, we're going to go with this. Now, once you have the snow down, then you're going to put some trees, you're going to start working with the background and some other things happening before you get to the snowman part. And to do that, I use my coloring sticks. Now, if you don't have coloring sticks, you can try to find some construction paper crayons, and they'll work too, just as good. So I'm going to be using these. It's one of my favorites. Put this over here. To do this, I'm going to do a tree. Now, the trees that you normally would find, or not, I shouldn't say normally, but you could find these trees are pine trees, like Christmas trees, but they're really pine trees, and they're all sorts of pine trees. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting 3 types of green. I think these are 3 types. I think so. Let me see. Do I have another one here? Oh, I've got another one. There's one. Get rid of that one. Ooh. Oh, I've got 4 types of green. So let me go with the lightest one first, and I'm going to start at the bottom, at the top of the snow here, by just drawing a line. Not quite to the top. Now I'm going to zoom in a lot closer so you can see how I'm doing this. From the very top, I start doing some small lines, and they're flaring out, just like this. And as I get lower, the lines get longer. Now, because of time, I'm not going to spend as much time as I would really like to be on this. So you can see how they're, because it would just take really a long time. But I think you'll get the idea. I'm going to try and make it look triangular, like a Christmas tree. Once I do one green, it's kind of hard to see that, isn't it? I'm going to do the next lightest green. Let me see if you can pick that up a little bit better. Yep, a little bit better. Again, just trying to copy over it, filling in some of the spaces here. Remember, trying to make it triangular, like a Christmas tree. Then I'm going to go to the next color, this one. And I'm going to try and go over that line, the original first line I did for the tree trunk. Now, I would like to do this a little more in depth, but take my time, but we'll see how this works. Now I'm going to take my darkest green, put the dark green in there. They're crisscrossing a lot in the middle. And once I do that, I can take my dark brown. Yeah, I think that's a dark brown. No, that's a gray. Sorry. There's my dark brown. Oh, there you are. I got it. Take my dark brown, and I do a little tree trunk right there. I might be able to do a little bit up the front there. There's my tree trunk. Ta-da! Let's back it up a little bit. There you go. So there's my tree. Now I could do that, and then I can do another tree if I wanted to. I've got one here where I've got 2 trees going, so you can do something like that. You can also, if I can do this for just a second, turn this over. Sorry. If I was going to do this one, let me go ahead and glue this one down for you real quick. with just some stick glue. Oh, I'm just about run out of my stick glue. I think I'm using the last bit for just right here. Turn this over. Next type of tree that you may want to do is just a tree that loses its leaves instead of being an evergreen. So I'm going to take two types of brown right there, and I'm going to start. With this, with a tree that has no leaves, you can start either at the top or in the middle, somewhere down here. I'm just going to get a little tree, little rough lines here, and just kind of. It's okay if they kind of jerk a little bit, look a little crooked, because it's. But you don't want something that's really, really skinny, unless it gets really out there. You're trying to growing this tree here. You don't want it just a little stick. You don't want it really thick either. So somewhere in between. So just putting this branches out there, just like that. There we go. There we go. There. I think I hear my grandson in the background. So I've got my tree growing here. So now I take my light brown and I can put some light brown in there just to give it a little texture, maybe. Get a little something a little more interesting besides just one. I don't like using just one color for anything. And I can even take a little bit of black, and not much because black's a pretty powerful color. But I can just maybe highlight some things here. Maybe make a shadow of two. Just kind of play around with it. And then with my white, I can put snow on where I think the snow would gather. It would be on the top part of the branches, not the underneath. Some of it might stick to the side of the tree in little crevices. Just a little bit. And maybe right there. So that would be my snow on my tree that's lost all the leaves. So I have this, or I have these. And now what I'd like to show you is this. Once you get this done, you have to think, do I want any other critters? Do I want birds? For instance, I do have this bird here, this little cardinal, and from a distance it may look okay, but really close up, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a couple of circles, an oval, a tail sticking out, because from a distance you really can't make out too much. So don't be worried about getting too detailed about whatever bird or rabbit or anything else you put in these things, okay? So once you get your trees done and anything else you may want in there, like a cabin or something of that nature, then you're going to go to the snowman, the actual snowman himself. So you just get 3 different circles, or just do it yourself, a small, medium, and large. Trace them out like this, and then you can cut it out. Excuse me. You can cut it out like this. And now to color this snowman, to give him some depth maybe, let me get a little closer here. I'm going to get a dark blue, or let me get a little dark blue here. I'm going to carry this circle of the head down a little bit, right there, and then the body, this part here. And on the very bottom, you notice I didn't make it rounded. That's because it's like sitting in the snow. Then I take this dark blue and I'm going to add a little blue around this side here to give it a shadow. And the same, and come down a little bit more right there. And the same thing goes for here. A little bit right there. Coming back out. And the same thing here. Now I'm about to do something that some of you already know about. Crayon rubbing. Okay. I'm going to rub this part, laying it flat down. And I'm holding it right there. And as I rub it, you can see how it kind of blends a little bit. Put this one there. And this one right there. There. back it up a little bit. So I have a little depth to it. Once you get that done, then you can take your black coloring stick or whatever you happen to be using, and you can do your typical snowman smile with your black pieces of coal, a piece of one for eyes here, just like that. Then you can take a orange. Now you may want to zoom in closer for this. For those of you who don't know how to do a snowman, is that going to get in focus? Oh, let's back it up a little bit right here. There we go. I make a little curve, and then I just, this kind of a little crooked carrot. Someone just stuck in there for his nose. Just like that. And if you think you can take some black and just a little bit of highlights. Like it has a little, I don't know, I like putting a little black in there a little bit. Oh, forgot the little buttons on the chest. Now, you don't really need buttons on the chest. You could actually make a vest for him or a scarf. I'm going to put a scarf later on once he's glued down. But now here's some art magic. If I put the snowman up high on this picture, like this, it looks like he is huge. This gigantic snowman that's like stomping over everything, right? Like, how could you get him that big? But here's the art magic. If you just take that snowman and move him down, now the snowman looks like he's a normal snowman. He's closer to you, and the trees are farther away. Now, I keep saying snowman, but really, you can make this a snow woman. You can make it a snow boy, a snow girl. You can just be really creative with this. And once I glue it down, I can then color in the scarf. Like I did this guy here. I colored in the scarf. And you can also color in or draw in the arms, pretend like they're sticks. And you can color in the top hat. Except it doesn't have to always be a top hat. This one happens to be. See? I just colored that in. And the arms, I just drew them right on top of everything. So you can really have fun with your snowman. And there's one last thing I've been doing with my students that a lot of them are really liking. I took a picture of the moon with my camera. And this was October moon, so they call it a beaver moon. So I took that and I printed out a lot of small ones, about this size. So I gave all my students one. Then I had them cut it out, and then they have their moon they can put anywhere in their picture. It could be off to the side, it can be lower, it's up to you. I personally like having my snowman not in the middle, off to the side, and having my moon somewhere over here. Not over here, but over here with the trees. And once I glue it down, I'll draw some branches going over the moon itself. With this particular thing, since the moon is shining here, I could even take some blue and draw a little bit of blue shadows here for the snowman and for this tree. I could put some clouds too if I wanted to. There's so many things you can do with this. It really makes a nice winter picture. So that's pretty much what I'm doing with my second graders. They're having a lot of fun with this. So I hope you do too. See you next time.